The year was 1945. A hard-fought peace was at hand, and Vancouver was hungry for the return of professional hockey. If a hockey franchise is renowned for its characters, one had to look no further than Coley Hall. Shrewd, astute, and tough as nails.
In those days, I guess Coley might have been classified in those days as an entrepreneur. The word wasn't much used then. He was a businessman, a hustler. He ran with a crowd of business guys, and if they had a dispute, they didn't call for their lawyers. They pulled knives on each other.
Coley had obtained the exclusive rights to the 5,000-seat Pacific Forum at the PNE, just in time for the formation of the Pacific Coast Hockey League.
Oh yeah, there was an awful lot of press there. They covered the training camp an awful lot because they'd been without hockey for quite a while.
And what to name the team? What better than honoring our brave soldiers?
He sat down one day with a drinking buddy of his. He told this Nevison guy that he had bought this hockey team and he didn't know what to call it. And Nevison said to him, he says, well, you know, Canada had just finished its efforts over in Europe in the Second World War. He says, I think you should call it the Canucks. It was a term of endearment for Canadians in the war, and that's what Coley called the team, Vancouver Canucks, and the name stuck.
The very first Vancouver Canucks won the Allen Cup, champions of the Pacific Coast Hockey League. Their first star was a victim of the six-team National Hockey League. Phil Maloney, who began as NHL Rookie of the Year, became expendable. The Vancouver Canucks became the beneficiaries of a man of humility, skill, and class.
You have to be crazy to play 19 years in the minors or love the game, which I did. I loved to play, played for nothing, literally, but it was fun. I enjoyed every minute of it pretty well.
The arrival of the Fox led to a great era in the Western Hockey League.
Phil Maloney was a great hockey player in an era when there were only 6 teams in the NHL. And so Phil's career was sort of up and down between the NHL and the minor leagues. He's one of the few players who was the most valuable player in the American Hockey League when he played in Buffalo and in the Western Hockey League when he played in Vancouver. He was a very smart player, good with the puck. And Maloney became a solid fixture in Vancouver.
Maloney caught the attention of a young BC Lion running back from Utah, who soon fell in love with Canada's game.
Well, let me tell you about the Fox. When I first came up to this country in 1962, I instantly became a fan of hockey. I really did. I just said, what a great game. And to this day, I always say that it's the greatest spectator sport in the world. Phil Maloney was known as the Fox, played for the Canucks in the Western Hockey League, won numerous scoring titles. Wasn't a great skater, but his stick handling and passing was a thing of beauty. Good hockey man, a good guy.
It turns out Maloney was the Fox on and off the ice.
Well, we had a couple of days off in San Diego. Can you imagine that? So the guys all got together and we went down to Tijuana, Mexico, and a notorious border town. And some of the leaders on the team were Big Hank Cahan, Phil Maloney, Don Cherry, the famous Don Cherry was on that team. So we're shopping and various bar hops in Tijuana. And Don Cherry goes in to buy a big vase for his wife, Rose. A big one of these big cheapo vases. I called it cheapo. Grapes thought it was excellent. And so Phil Maloney saw Cherry go in and buy this for his wife, and after Cherry had left the store, Maloney went in and bought the same type of vase, identical vase. And we came back on the bus, team bus went down there, and So we're back around the pool in the evening after this trip to Tijuana. And out of Don Cherry's room on the second floor comes Phil Maloney holding this vase. And he says, "Grapes, is this the vase you got for Rose?" And he, "Yeah, that's it, Fox." Bam, he let it go. Smash all the pieces on the side of the pool. Well, Don Cherry was livid, you know, and of course it was the vase that Maloney had bought, not Grapes, which was in the closet. But you remember little things like that.
When Maloney's playing days ended, he stayed with the Canucks, moving into scouting, coaching, and was the general manager of the first Canucks playoff team. For almost a half-century, Vancouver hungered for an NHL franchise, but the fates were against us. Stafford Smythe, son of Conn Smythe, who built Maple Leaf Gardens, came to Vancouver and told the city if they gave him free prime land downtown, he would build a new arena worthy of an NHL franchise. The city fathers told him where to go and waited for another chance.
Well, Vancouver thought it would be automatic that they would be in the first expansion of the NHL. The reason why the NHL expanded when they did is at the meetings in Montreal in June of 1966, I think it was, the American and Western Hockey Leagues had a major meeting and decided they were going to go independent, have an interlocking schedule, and sign players to individual contracts. In other words, compete with the National Hockey League. But shortly after that announcement by the American and Western Leagues, the National Hockey League, surprise, surprise, announced they were going to expand and double the size of the league from 6 to 12 teams.
Vancouver probably never had a chance in the first wave of expansion. New teams seemed predetermined, and there was the matter of where they'd play.
The Vancouver presentation did not win anybody over, but Vancouver still had the old antiquated Forum and dragged their feet and sort of hurt that development. But when the announcement came that the 6 new teams did not include Vancouver, there was an immediate reaction, not only in Vancouver, not only in BC, but in all of Western Canada.
In a bold move, the PNE built the Pacific Coliseum.
Will you attend more hockey games when they play in the Pacific Coliseum?
I've got a season ticket already. Can't wait to get into the new arena. Really.
Well, the sooner they get it open, the better. I like it. The sooner we get out of this place, the better it'll be also.
Do you think that more of your friends will turn out to hockey games when they get the new arena?
Yes, I think so.
The Western League Canucks were champions in their final year, soon to be replaced with what we've always dreamed of.
The Vancouver Canucks have just completed 30 days of preparation for this occasion. And now the big test NHL competition. They have a young, tough team that'll be wearing the royal blue, Kelly green, and white uniforms representing a city that has been waiting decades for this occasion. Certainly is a pleasure to be here.